Hey y'all, Earthy Wise Woman here, and I am having my coffee side chat tonight. See, got the coffee. Mm, so let's chat. You know, the other week I do this a lot. I go to a lot of botanicas, to look around, get some ideas of what's going on. And over the last, I'd say, probably the last 15 years, candles have changed a lot. Um, when I was a younger practitioner, you know, you would kind of walk on the wild side with certain things, with two two colored candles or skull candles or witches candles. And over the years they started coming in different colors. Like I remember when skull candles were just black, red, and white. And then came green later on. And now you can get a skull candle in any color pretty much you can think of. And I thought, wow, that's really cool because um how does this work? I'm going to have to explain. What when you do see a candle in a color that you're not familiar with, let's say you want to get a male candle and a figure candle, and usually the figure candles come in maybe your basic four: black, white, red, and maybe green. And you're trying to figure, well, wait a minute, and then you find the same color in the same figure candle in a yellow or a brown. I've seen that one too. I'm looking at my grimoire, that's why I'm looking down, if you were wondering. Now, the thing that I found that fascinating is a lot of people are like, okay, I am familiar with the figure, the shape. I get that. But how in the world do I use it with this color? And I am going to answer that. How you do this is this: look up what the skull candle or the figure candle or the witch's candle, the cat candle, whatever, what the actual figure itself is meant for. And then you go and look up the color. And then you combine the two, and then you'll know how in this figure and that color what the candle is used for. Because nowadays they've come out with different kinds of candles that have really blown my mind. I got to tell you, I don't know if the word is impressed, but definitely has tickled my magical mind, because these are candles that did not exist when I was a much younger practitioner. Now, here's a case in point. I was at my local botanica and I found this. This is a skull candle. So, no big deal. We know what a skull candle is, obviously. The thing that this was fascinating is a reversible. Now, it's not even your typical reversible candle. So this keeps tripping. A reversible candle, a real reversible candle, would be one color on the top and a different color on the bottom. That's the reversible candle usually. So when I saw this, I'm like, well, technically this is not a reversible candle, even though it is two different colors. So what I did was I looked at the candle and I'm like, okay, what is this? And what it is, let's look up what a skull candle is, because I write these things down. Skull candles represents the human mind. Okay? The mind is the base of all thought. Thoughts are ideas that are manifested from the mind. Skull candles are used to enhance the mind in all goals. They are also used to banish negative thoughts and addictions. And I'm going to read on. Skull candles are also used in a form of something called sympathetic magic. The whole thing, it's all sympathetic magic. In other words, this skull represents somebody's head that you want to get into. So in this case, if you want somebody to think about you, if you want them to have you on their mind, in most skull candles, you would carve the name somewhere on the skull of who the skull will be representing. Okay? Now, I could go into more details. Like, you could say you would get a. I'm torn between. I would say a really nice. Oh, I'm thinking about what color I would use. I think I would probably use. Yeah, I would use green. Okay. Let's say I really wanted somebody to give me money. Okay, Billy Lee or whatever. So I would carve the name Billy Lee in the candle, and I would light it, and I would focus my energy on Billy Lee giving me some money. Okay, I want to get into his mind. That being said, let's look at this candle. Now, this candle is red on one side and it is black on the other. So let's look at what the corresponding colors mean. Now, a red candle solid would mean sending lusty thoughts to a person. So you're sending lusty thoughts. Flames of desire oil would be used, but it's to send lusty thoughts. This is not love, okay? So I don't want anybody to think this is like the color for a booty call. Okay. Now the black is usually used to remove addictions, to banish the idea. So you're like, well, wait a minute. Remove addictions, lusty thoughts. It seems kind of contradiction, right? But here's one way of looking at this. Now, I told you that the black was to remove addictions. Addictions are not necessarily alcohol or drinking or anything like that. Addictions could also be an obsession. You can replace it with to banish an obsession. Okay, so I could say, I want to banish him thinking about moving me. Okay, that's a good one. I'm thinking, okay, let's say that you are passionate to want to stay in a certain state or district, and your boss is about to relocate half the staff or something like that. This is a far stretch. So you light this candle. So on one side, you want him to remove the consideration of making you move to a new county or state or whatever for your job. And the red side, it would be more like, wow, yeah, because lusty dreams don't necessarily have to be sex. Lusty dreams can be the passion and a desire very, very strong. So you would want your boss to have a desire not to move you to another state or city for your job. That's one way of looking at it. Another way you can do this is, and I wish this one would have it, but it doesn't. But because I would love to just burn half this candle if I wanted to do this. But to remove addictions could be, let's say you were married to a guy who, I like this one, who loves sports. He's got to watch his faithful football team every single doggone time they play. And you just like, damn, baby, can't we just go out to dinner and like be with each other and do the ooh la la? Why do you have to watch the Rams all the time? So you would burn something like this to make him not want to even care about the Rams. Like, nah, I don't want to care about the Rams. I want to be with my woman. You see my point? How the reversal would work like that? Forget about this. I want to be that. Or this can also be used for a self-love. Okay? So this candle is you. You want to get rid of all of your negative habits. Like you oversleep. You're late for appointments. You are maybe even overeating. And the red would represent something like love of yourself. A little bit of vanity. Doesn't matter, slightly narcissistic. In other words, you would put yourself first and you would get rid of the bad habits that have prevented you from growing and putting yourself first. Because even though we have always been told that being selfish or being self absorbed is bad, and it is, but only to an extreme. Because on some levels, you do need to love yourself and you do need to think of yourself. Otherwise, you would end up in a mess of trouble if you didn't. Okay? So, again, I'm going to put this down. I don't have a second candle like that because they only had something like that at the Botanica that I went to today. They didn't have any others. I will be on the lookout for those. I did find a reversible, properly reversible figure candle. And let me go see if I can find that. I am back, and I do have a figure candle that is a true reversible, red on top, black on the bottom. This is a female figure candle. Now I'm not going to unwrap it because I sell this on my Etsy store. So I just kind of want to keep it wrapped up for the person who decides to buy it. Now, how you would use this one is interesting. You're going to love this. Okay, usually when you use a red figure candle, red would represent, of course, love. No, lust. Lust. And when I say lust, it's with all capitals. L-U-S-T, lust. To draw someone into your life, who you can, share things with, encounters, and yet it's to draw that person in, and that's how this usually would be. And the bottom part, the black, would be to send away a dark situation, get the person away from you, to remove someone away, and to remove someone who's basically messing with you, to bind them and rid them, exorcise them. That's the word I'm looking at my own notes, and I'm saying it 3 different ways. Now, how you would use this as a for a candle is simple. If you have somebody who who's basically a little bit too much into you, you might say, too much lust, like you've had enough, you want to end this relationship, or in this case it's not really a relationship, this sex buddy, I guess, friends with benefits, you want to end it, you would burn something like this, because the red represents, oh yeah, she was the one, and the black is now that she's, she was the one, and now we're gonna go. Yes, she was my sex buddy, but now I want her to go away. So what you would do is use a candle like this, carve the person's name somewhere on the candle. I would definitely anoint this with something like I wouldn't say bend to my will, drive away oil. Yeah, I guess drive away, or be gone oil. There's a few others. So basically, this would be maybe an intensive way to get rid of that person. But you're getting rid of a sex partner. So basically, that is what this for, is to rid yourself of a sex partner. Now, that's not the only way to use this candle. Another way to be using this candle, because sometimes a black candle can also represent to bind a person to you if you want that. Not bind in that way. So in other words, you have this person that you love and they mean a great deal, but they're kind of screwed up in the brain. Like they're doing things that are not really healthy and conducive for them, or you guys to have a great relationship. So you can burn this candle because, the lust is good, Let's just get rid of some of those bad habits that they have, So that's one way of doing it. But I tell you, the funny part about it is this. Usually in something like this, you can also use it like the old plain Jane way, which is what I would use it for. And the old way would be this. Usually when we use a reversible candle, we don't use reversible candles that are figure candles. We usually just use a basic reversible candle that's a pillar candle that's red on top, black on the bottom, and we use it to end something, just end the marriage, end the relationship. The thing I like about a figure candle is it is really a lot more like a laser. Whereas the other candle, we would carve the person's name on it. With the figure candle, you absolutely definitely know this is going to be Susie May or whatever. You can even to get rid of them, you can even dress them a little bit. I would be very careful with that when you're burning them, the candle, because that may not be a good idea. But you can definitely carve their name in it. You can even put maybe some jewelry on it that belonged to that person. And yeah, that could get a little hot, so figure out a way to put it at the bottom or something. But ultimately, you want to get rid of this person out of your life. Now, old school practitioners, I'm talking about like my grandmother, when she wanted to banish somebody away from her, I'm sure she would have used this, but she didn't. She would just use your standard reversible pillar candle. But I'm sure my grandmother would have had a great joy with this. My grandmother would have probably taken it down, carved the name in it, and literally poured black salt into the candle and lit it and make that person go. Now, I generally don't teach people a lot of some of the darker arts of magic, but I will tell you this can also be used very well, if you think about it, for hexing. How? Well, I wouldn't use it for hexing. I would use it to get rid of a person. Instead of sprinkling the black salt, you can also sprinkle it with hot foot powder to make the person just get the hell up away from you. You carve the name, sprinkle the hot foot powder on it, and light it. And that would work really well. The person's name is it. I mean, it's the detail is so intense when using a candle like this. And yes, if it really is that's one specific person, you could actually carve the name and put hexing powder into it as well. But you could also do that with an all black candle. So I'm just making that point. But this one, like I said before, if it was an old lover, that would be perfect. Okay? They really ought to call this one Get Rid of My Old Lover Candle. But you can use it that way. So, anyway, it was nice having this coffee break chat with you guys. And it was nice sharing some of the things that I found at my Botanica that I like to go to. So be aware, it would be good for all of you to realize that it is good to keep a grimoire and write down the meaning of candles. And remember, as you develop and grow as a practitioner, candles also grow in meaning and purpose of how you're going to use them. Okay? Because how you use this gold candle now may not be the way you use it in 5 years, because you've learned more things. And as you develop, so does your candle magic, or any magic that you practice. It will develop and grow as well. And that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's wonderful. I've been told to remind people, this is it for the night. I'm going to let you guys go because I've already binged your ear for the last, 18 and a half minutes or so. But please, I hope you still are, tuned in to this video. But please like and subscribe down below. I would really, really appreciate that. And all of you guys, you have a great evening and bright blessings.